department will transfer. There are P cards. They are also on the table. I need a motion on the P cards.
Motion to approve.
Need a second.
Second.
Any conversation about the P cards? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. It takes us back to Public Safety Services Committee on page 5 of your agenda. Mr. Lavelle is the chair. We have a number of bills. Do you want them read one by one, or do you want all three of them on the table at the same time?
Altogether.
All right, if you read the next three bills, which is bills number 1218, 1219, and 1220.
1218, an ordinance amending and supplementing the Pittsburgh Code of Ordinances at Title VI, Conduct Article 1, Regulated Actions and Rights by repealing the existing language of Chapter 607, Firearms, Ammunition, and Other Weapons in its entirety, and replacing it with a new Chapter 607, General Firearm Conduct, to update existing laws to meet the public safety needs of residents. Bill number 1219, an ordinance amending and supplementing the Pittsburgh Code of Ordinances at Title VI, Conduct Article 1, Regulated Actions and Rights by adding Chapter 610, Ban on Specified Firearm Accessories, Ammunition, and Modifications, to place a prohibition on certain firearm accessories, ammunition, and modifications. Bill number 1220, an ordinance amending and supplementing the Pittsburgh Code of Ordinances at Title VI, Conduct Article 1, Regulated Actions and Rights by adding Chapter 603, Extreme Risk Protection Orders, to provide for appropriate injunctive actions for the preservation of public safety in extreme circumstances.
Need a motion, Mr. Lavelle.
Motion to approve with discussion?
Second.
I'll defer to Mr. O'Connor and Ms. Strassburger.
Mr. O'Connor.
Thank you very much. I want to thank Council. I want to thank Councilwoman Strassburger's office, Hirsch in her office, as well as Matt Singer in my office. We are doing today, we are not changing anything on the text files. The clerk has a summary of the papers that are going to be added to the legislative record, and that is what we are doing. The clerk's office is passing it out now. It's a summary for council. The legislative record, the research that we're adding will be available on Legistar for the general public to read, but nothing changes the text files.
I need a motion to attach what is this?
Supplemental papers? Supplement.
I need a motion to attach the supplemental research to these three bills. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay.
Abstain.
Two abstentions.
We couldn't speak on that? I did ask.
You can on the, okay, there are two different things. I thought you wanted to go to a regular bill. I'm sorry.
I'll wait.
Because this is simply attaching it to it. But, and so we'll go back to conversation about the amendment. Ms. Harris.
Yes, I just would like to say that this is a law that the state has to deal with.
That's on the bill, not on the amendment.
I don't care if it's on a bill or the amendment. The amendment, too, I can speak on to say that I will be abstaining.
But it's not, I'm sorry, it's not an amendment. It's simply attaching supplemental research. And so the talk about the bill itself is really more appropriate to talk about the bill and its legality, not on the supplemental research. So I'd prefer to pass this through, and then certainly you'll have more than enough time to talk about the bill itself in a second. Okay? So all those in favor of attaching supplemental research, please signify by saying aye. Opposers, nay. Abstentions.
Abstain.
Two abstentions. Okay, now we're back on the regular bill. Mr. O'Connor has the chair.
I was going to make a motion to hold the bill 1 week.
All right, before we do that, then, Ms. Harris, as I promised, we'll have our opportunity to share. Ms. Harris.
Yes, I just want to say on all three of the gun bills, no gun bills should be at this table because these are state laws. I would love to be able to vote on these, but they will be useless because they're state laws. They are not city laws, and the city cannot make any gun laws. It's very clearly written in the state law. And, if you want to go up there Harrisburg or whatever you want to do to ask them to vote on gun laws, we can do it. Just as this council voted on decriminalization of marijuana, and people thought there was only a $25 fine, and they ended up going to court, and it was much more, and it did go on their record, because again, this council does not have the right to make any laws on drugs. That's the state and federal government. So that's why I'll be abstaining, because, and by the way, one of the state reps are putting it in right now about the decriminalization of marijuana, because it couldn't be passed here at the council level. We have to vote on things that deal with the city of Pittsburgh that we have the right to vote on, and guns and drugs are not one of them. Thank you.
Very much. Any other conversations? Ms. Strassburger as one of the bill sponsors, and then Ms. Smith.
Thank you. I wanted to just thank my staff and staff from Councilman O'Connor's office for pulling all of this supplemental research together. A couple other things to add to that. Madam Clerk will have 2 paper copies of the study documents in her office. It's voluminous, which is why we only printed out the summaries for members today and not the full studies. But the full studies, which total 2,200 pages, will be available on Legistar after the meeting, and copies at the clerk's office as well. And I just want to say I look forward to working with all members as we work with you on amendments in response to this research that we've received and compiled and read through, and work with all members, because I think that there is a way to, although it's very nuanced and it's very legal, I think there is a way to pass legislation that is allowable in the city of Pittsburgh, that we are actually, given the authority to do. So over the next, I don't know, don't want to put a timeline on it, but into the future, looking forward to working with all members and talking with you about the possibilities of all 3 of these bills.
Very much, Ms. Smith.
So I'm just going to say that I'm going to abstain today. I talked to Councilman O'Connor, and while I appreciate the need for gun control, especially in terms of the registration and universal background checks and all those things, I from day one thought that this, some of this was, the intentions were good, and there was also a part of me that thought it was politically driven. And when I saw today the speakers come in one after another to talk about how horrific gun violence is, I think there's no one disagrees with that, and no one disagrees that we should have some changes in the gun laws. But I think that the question is not whether gun violence is horrible. The question is, do we have the authority to do this? And that's what should be reported. But of course, because we made sure certain speakers came in today and made sure that we said today we wouldn't be voting, so no one else came in to speak in opposition, we kind of controlled the message here today. And I think that the message really should be, do we have the authority? And really, how effective is this, or is this just another political stunt? Because it's starting to feel that way when I saw what happened here today. Of course, people are going to say gun violence is horrible when mass murders are horrible. I mean, who wouldn't say that? Who wouldn't say that mass shootings are terrible, unless you're doing someone doing it? But that was never the question for me. The question for me is, 1, do we have the authority? 2, the impact in the African American community. We're banning the guns that most African American folks are arrested for. We're not banning the guns that they're shot with. The same with the Latino community. And so those are the questions I have. It's not whether or not it's horrific. Of course it's horrific. So for me, I'll abstain today, and I have some questions, but now these actually raised my level of concern. Thank you.
I'll simply say one statement, and anybody else before I say my final statement, then I'll ask for the motion to hold.
I say something.
We'll have this debate when the bills hit the table, so I won't go over that at all. I simply want to say that it is my opinion, and hopefully unanimously agreement on council, that our goal as a body is to reduce gun violence, whether it be homicide, suicide, domestic violence, or mass shootings. And we may disagree on how to do it, but I think we are united as a body and as a city that is our goal. And so we will debate those methods and at the end of the day work together to achieve the same shared goal. With that, we ask that Mr. Connor, if you'd make your motion hold.
Motion to hold 1 week.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposers, nay.
Abstain.
2 abstentions, still held for 1 week. I believe that exhausts the Public Safety Services Committee. It takes us back to the Public Works Committee on page 6.